welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're exploring something pretty critical for almost every organization out there, the global talent management software market, TMS, basically. Yeah, our mission here is to unpack some really interesting insights from a detailed market forecast report. We're going to look at the size, the key drivers, future growth trends across different regions, different countries, looking at the period from 2021 right up to 2033. And believe me, there are some pretty impressive growth figures and maybe some surprising regional differences we'll get into.
Exactly. And it's important to understand this isn't just about the software itself. Understanding TMS is really about grasping how businesses are, well, strategically adapting. It links directly to that big need for efficiency, for agility in managing their workforce,
Yeah,
their people.
right. Okay, so let's start with that big global picture then, because the growth numbers are kind of staggering. Back in 2021, the whole market was valued around, what, $7.5 billion?
About that.
Fast forward just to 2025, and it's projected to hit nearly $12 billion.
A pretty big jump already.
But then, get this, by 2033, it's expected to soar past $30 billion.
Wow. Okay.
That works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 12.23%.
Yeah, and for context, that means growing over 12% every single year on average. That's really sustained strong growth. And what's driving this robust expansion? It's fundamentally organizations realizing they need to streamline key HR stuff. We're talking recruitment, performance tracking, training, figuring out retention strategies. These aren't optional anymore.
Like essentials now, right?
Exactly. TMS provides that integrated platform, moving companies away from, messy spreadsheets to something much more strategic.
Makes sense. Okay, so from that global view, let's maybe zoom in a bit.
Yeah.
North America, usually a leader in tech adoption. How's it looking there? In 2021, its regional revenue was about $2.4 billion. By 2025, estimated around $3.75 billion. And then the big leap again by 2033, over $9.14 billion.
So regional KDR there of about 11.78%, still very strong.
And within North America, the U.S. is obviously the big chunk.
Yeah, no surprise there. The U.S. market is set to more than triple, hitting almost $6.9 billion by 2033. That's an 11.5% CAGR, roughly.
Okay.
But you know what's interesting? Canada.
Oh, how so?
Well, it starts smaller, obviously, around $387 million in 2021. But its growth rate is actually faster. It's projected to hit over $1.7 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of over 13.3%.
Huh. Faster than the U.S.
Any thoughts why?
Could be strong tech adoption, maybe a more centralized push for digital transformation in Canadian businesses. Shows a lot of potential, really.
Interesting. And Mexico?
Mexico's growing steadily, too, nearly tripling its market size over the period, looking at about $540 million by 2033. That's a CGR close to 11%.
Got it. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic. Europe, another major player, I assume.
Definitely. Europe's market was valued around $2.18 billion in 2021.
Okay.
Projected to reach $3.55 billion in 2025, and then jump to almost $9.4 billion by 2033.
So similar size to North America by 2033 then.
Pretty close, yeah. And what's notable is its overall CGR, 12.931%. Oh, wait, that's actually a bit higher than North America's regional rate.
It is, yeah. Which raises questions about what's driving that extra momentum in Europe.
So who are the leaders within Europe?
Germany.
Germany's definitely leading the pack. Revenue expected to quadruple, basically, from about $413 million up to over $1.7 billion by 2033. That's a 12.7% CAGR.
Strong. UK.
UK also looking at nearly quadrupling its market, reaching over $1 billion, a CAGR around 12.1%.
Ross.
Italy.
Okay.
France is showing strong growth, too, from $321 million to about $1.4 billion, with a CAGR over 13.1%. And Italy is right up there as well, forecast to jump from $236 million to over $1 billion, with a really strong 13.5% CGR.
Okay, so solid growth across the major economies. Anyone else stand out?
Well, Russia actually shows some quite remarkable gains in the forecast, climbing from $218 million to over $1 billion by 2033. That's a CER of 14%, one of the highest in the region.
14%, wow. Any reason for that kind of acceleration? It could be linked to maybe major modernization efforts in their corporate sector, or perhaps a faster rollout of digital infrastructure than previously anticipated.
Interesting dynamic. And Spain.
Spain's another strong performer, nearly quintupling its market size from $168 million to almost $800 million. That's a CAGR of nearly 13.9%.
Okay, and then you've got others like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland.
Yeah, all showing steady, solid double-digit growth as well. Adding to that overall dynamic picture in Europe, Key GRs mostly in the 11% to 13% range for those.
Right. So Europe's looking very dynamic indeed.
Yeah.
Let's shift focus now to the Asia-Pacific region, APAC.
Okay. A huge and diverse area, obviously.
The market value there was just under $2 billion back in 2021. Projected to hit nearly $3.1 billion by 2025, and then around $7.4 billion by 2033.
So a solid regional key GR there of 11.645%.
And the key players in APAC, China leading.
Yes, China's leading in terms of total revenue, growing from about $608 million to nearly $2.2 billion by 2033. That's about an 11.3% CAGR.
Okay. But I feel like India often comes up as a high-growth area.
You're right. India shows really high potential here. It's rising from about $315 million in 2021 to over $1.44 billion by 2033. That's a very strong SAN-GR of 13.5%.
That's up there with Italy and Spain and Europe. Why such strong growth in India?
Well, you've got a large young workforce, often very digitally savvy, plus a booming startup scene that tends to adopt modern HR tech quickly to help them scale up.
Makes sense. What about established economies like Japan and South Korea?
They're showing stable growth, but maybe slightly lower rates than India. Both are around the 11% CAGR mark. Still solid, consistent growth.
And Australia, Singapore, Southeast Asia.
Yeah, all showing steady expansion, too. KGR is generally in that 10% to 12% range. It really underscores that this isn't just one or two countries. It's a broad regional trend.
Okay, and places like Taiwan, rest of APAC?
They contribute too, yeah. The rest of APAC's category has a slightly more modest CAGR, around 8.2%, but still growing.
Got it. Okay, moving south now. South America, how's the TMS market looking there?
South America's market was valued around $520 million in 2021, forecasted to grow to $838 million by 2025, and then hit over $2.18 billion by 2033.
Okay, so the CAGR.
Pretty strong, actually, 12.694%.
And Brazil leads the way, I imagine.
It does, yeah. Brazil grows from about $212 million to over $881 million by 2033. That's a TGR of about 12.6%.
But is that the whole story? Any surprises?
Well, similar to North America, with Canada, Argentina, and Colombia are emerging as really strong players. Their CAGRs are actually projected higher than Brazil's, both over 13.2%.
Really? So they're catching up fast.
Seems like it. Suggests maybe a rapid maturing of their business environments, perhaps more foreign investment, or just a big local push for efficiency.
Interesting. And smaller countries like Peru, Chile.
Also showing steady double-digit growth adding to the mix. Even the rest of South America is growing at over 10% CAGR, so broad growth there too.
Okay, fascinating. Let's head to the Middle East now. What's the picture there?
The Middle East market is projected to grow from about $278 million in 2021 to $453 million by 2025, and then hitting over $1.2 billion by 2033.
With a CAGR of...
A solid 12.962%. Right in line with Europe's overall rate, actually.
And key countries.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, Turkey.
Both reflecting strong demand, yeah. Growing at around 12.8% annually.
Okay.
But the real standout, I think, is the UAE.
Oh, yeah. How so?
It shows one of the highest KGRs globally in this forecast. Over 14%. 14.051% to be exact.
14%? Wow. That is incredibly high.
It is. Revenue there is projected to rise from just under $48 million to over $232 million. It points to really rapid adoption, maybe tied to those ambitious national development plans they have.
A real commitment to modernizing their workforce infrastructure.
Exactly. And Egypt, Qatar, the rest of the Middle East also contributing significantly, with KGRs generally between, say, 11.9% and 13%.
Okay. That leaves us with Africa, an emerging region, I guess, in TMS terms.
Definitely emerging, but showing a strong growth trajectory. Starts from a smaller base, around $165 million in 2021.
Right.
Expected to reach $276 million by 2025, and then over $721 million by 2033.
And the growth rate?
A strong CGR of 12.773%. Again, pretty much in line with other major regions.
So catching up fast, what about within Africa? Nigeria, South Africa.
Yeah, interesting dynamics there. Nigeria's market is forecast to more than quadruple, from about $72 million to over $303 million. That's a 12.4% CAGR.
Okay.
South Africa actually shows even stronger momentum in the forecast. Its CAGR is projected at nearly 13.3%.
Higher than Nigeria, maybe earlier adoption or more developed corporate structures.
Could be, yeah. And the rest of Africa category isn't far behind either, growing at about 12.5%. So it's clear the continent is really embracing these digital talent solutions, especially in key economic centers.
Wow. Okay, so let's let's try and bring this all together. We've gone around the globe. It seems abundantly clear the TMS market isn't just growing, it's expanding at an incredible rate everywhere.
Absolutely. It's not just the size, it's the complexity, the demand for these integrated tools. It really signals a shift in business priorities worldwide.
Hmm.
And like we said at the start, it reinforces those underlying drivers. Companies have to optimize their workforce now. It's strategic.
Right.
And, the whole shift towards remote and hybrid work, needing the right infrastructure for that, that's just pouring fuel on the fire.
Accelerating things even more.
Definitely. So the future for TMS looks incredibly dynamic. Lots of opportunities, not just for the vendors, but for any organization that wants to get smarter about managing its people.
Indeed. It really does make you think about how work itself is changing. So here's a final thought for you, our listeners.
Yeah.
As workforce optimization and remote work keep evolving, what does this huge growth in TMS actually mean for how you and your organization will manage talent over the next decade? And maybe even how might these tools actually shape the future of work itself? Something to ponder. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is your express route to getting really well informed on the topics shaping our world. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of the global talent management software market, TMS. Think of it as exploring the big forces that are redefining how organizations everywhere manage their the most vital asset, their people. So our mission here is pretty clear. We want to unpack the core dynamics driving this market, get a handle on the challenges, the big ones, and also spotlight the really exciting trends mapping out its future. And as we go, maybe ask yourself, why is this relevant to you right now?
That's a great question, because understanding this stuff, it really gives you vital insights into how businesses attract, sure, but also develop and, crucially, keep their talent, especially now. I mean, the labor market is so competitive, everything's evolving.
It really is.
And the way we work is just constantly shifting, right? TMS is, it's really right at the heart of that transformation. So whether you're an employee, a manager, maybe just curious about where work is headed, these shifts, they touch everyone.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So one of the main things pushing the TMS market forward is this relentless demand for better recruitment and retention strategies. In a job market like this, companies are under huge pressure, not just to attract talent, but to evaluate them efficiently and critically keep the really good ones.
Precisely. TMS platforms, they're not just nice-to-haves anymore. They've become, essential tools.
Essential. Okay.
They don't just help HR find people. They streamline the whole hiring process. They, cut down the time to hire, make the candidate experience way better. And that gives companies a real strategic edge in getting skilled professionals. But beyond that, it's also about creating environments where your top performers can, really thrive and want to stay engaged.
Right. It's not just about getting folks in the door.
Right.
And another huge accelerator for TMS. It has to be the big shift we've all seen towards remote and hybrid work. I mean, everyone's adapting to these more flexible ways of working. And so the need for good digital tools to, monitor performance, keep people engaged, track development when your team is spread out, that need has just exploded.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, TMS is really stepping up to meet that need. It offers these crucial features like, smooth virtual onboarding, performance management that actually works across different time zones, good learning and development tracking, aligning goals remotely. These things are absolutely critical if you want to make sure your distributed teams stay productive, engaged, and pointed in the same direction as the company. It's all about keeping things together even when people are apart.
Okay, so digging a bit deeper then. The third major force seems to be integrating workforce analytics and artificial intelligence, AI. How is AI really changing what TMS can actually do for companies?
Well, the real power of AI here isn't just like making things faster, more efficient, though it does that too. It's more about uncovering these unseen connections in workforce data, things you wouldn't spot otherwise.
Unseen connections, like what's this?
Like imagine being able to identify someone who might be thinking about leaving, a potential flight risk, months before they even, consciously decide, just based on subtle shifts in maybe their engagement scores or performance patterns. This kind of capability, it fundamentally shifts HR. It moves it from just reacting to problems to being really proactive with talent strategy. That's a huge shift, something we couldn't really imagine before.
That sounds incredibly powerful, almost too powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, does it always work as intended? Are there ways these AI insights could be, misapplied? Or maybe even create new biases if companies aren't super careful.
That's a vital question. The potential is definitely huge, but the challenge really lies in the data quality for one, and how the algorithms are designed. Companies absolutely have to be vigilant. They need to avoid just accidentally baking in existing biases or, relying too much on automated decisions without a human checking things over. It's a powerful tool, yes, but it needs careful handling to get the full ethical benefit.
Right. Makes sense. So, okay, like any big tech shift, this market isn't all smooth sailing. There are challenges. One of the really obvious ones is cost, right? The
Yeah.
high implementation costs and then keeping it running. For lots of organizations, especially maybe smaller or medium-sized ones, getting a full TMS system. It's a big upfront investment.
It is. And while those upfront costs are visible, the hidden costs can be just as significant. Things like the disruption to how people work day to day and the amount of retraining needed right across the company.
Mhm.
That can make the immediate return on investment kind of hard to see, even for bigger companies with deep pockets. Sometimes it leads to the tools not being used fully, not having the strategic impact they could.
So if you're a smaller business listening to this, is it just like an impossible dream, or are there maybe more accessible, scalable options out there? TMS solutions that can still give you a decent ROI without breaking the bank.
That's a great point. And yes, absolutely. The market is definitely segmenting. Lots of vendors now offer modular cloud-based solutions, subscription models, pay-as-you-go sort of things, which are much more accessible.
Okay.
The key for smaller businesses, I think, is to figure out their most critical talent needs first. What's the biggest pain point?
Hmm.
Then find a TMS that addresses that and can grow with them, instead of trying to implement a massive enterprise suite right out of the gate.
Right. Start small, scale up.
Okay.
Beyond the money side, though, another big barrier comes up when you think about all the sensitive data these systems handle. That's the constant worry about data privacy and security.
Oh, it's a huge responsibility. You've got regulations like GDPR, CCPA,
Yeah.
making sure you're compliant, implementing strong access controls, keeping data encrypted. It all demands pretty sophisticated systems and just constant watchfulness.
Yeah.
And the potential fallout from a data breach, the reputational damage alone, it's a major concern for companies everywhere. It can definitely be a big psychological barrier to adopting these tools.
And you mentioned the human element earlier. You really can't underestimate that. I was just thinking that I have a friend in HR, and before they got a TMS, they literally had physical binders for everything.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the resistance there.
Exactly. That resistance to change, it can seriously hinder how well a TMS gets adopted.
Yeah.
It might be fear of the unknown,
Mm.
or sometimes people just don't want to lose the comfort of the old way, even if it was inefficient. Things like inadequate training, maybe not enough buy-in from leadership or managers, worries about losing control over managing people.
Yeah.
It can all lead to users just not adopting the tool properly or underusing even the best systems. Managing that cultural shift, that human side, it's absolutely crucial to actually unlock what these TMS solutions can do.
Looking ahead, though, despite the challenges, it's clear there are some really exciting trends shaping the future here. One of the big ones seems to be the rise of AI-driven talent acquisition and screening getting even faster.
Absolutely. TMS vendors are embedding AI much more deeply into the recruitment parts of their platforms. So that means automating tasks like reading resumes, doing that initial candidate shortlisting, even using chatbots for preliminary interviews.
Hmm.
And this doesn't just speed up hiring dramatically, it also has the potential to help minimize unconscious bias. Plus, it reduces recruiter burnout, which is frankly a massive benefit. It's a big leap forward.
We're also seeing this big push for integrating employee experience platforms, EXPs, right into the TMS ecosystem. That seems to signal a more kind of holistic view of the employee's journey.
Yeah, and what's interesting there is how these integrations go beyond just the traditional HR functions. They aim to support the employee right from day one, all the way through their time with the company.
Yeah.
So they offer features like personalized learning paths, tools for giving real-time feedback, wellness programs, checking employee sentiment. By focusing on the whole employee experience, organizations are finding they can boost engagement, increase job satisfaction, and ultimately improve retention, keep people happier and longer.
And then finally, there's this growing trend towards unified human capital management suites, HCM suites. This is where TMS features get bundled together with other stuff, like payroll, benefits admin, compliance tracking, workforce planning, kind of an all-in-one shop.
Exactly. And that approach, it offers amazing consistency in how data is managed. It streamlines workflows that might otherwise be stuck in different HR silos. And it gives leadership a complete, unified picture of everything related to their workforce. This makes it much, much easier for HR leaders to line up their talent strategies directly with the wider business goals. You get sort of a single source of truth for all your people data.
So as we've heard, the talent management software market is really going through a huge transformation. It's being driven by, incredible tech innovation, these changing workplace models like remote and hybrid work that we're all living through, and definitely a much stronger focus now on employee well-being. And while, yeah, challenges like those high costs, the data security worries, and just plain old resistance to change, they're still there, they persist. The overall long-term outlook for these really powerful tools looks incredibly promising, both for the companies making them and for the organizations that adopt them wisely.
Yeah, and as you think about this ongoing evolution of talent management software, maybe something to ponder is this. How might these increasingly sophisticated tools further redefine that fundamental relationship between us as employees and our organizations, moving beyond just, managing people to truly empowering human capital? And maybe also what new skills might you need to really thrive in a workplace that's being shaped by these ever smarter technologies?
Those are powerful questions to think about. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the talent management software market. We really hope you continue your own exploration of these fascinating and definitely fast evolving topics.